I am a winner. I am a winner. I am a winner. Be gone!
What is up, space pirates? This is your Admiral, the tantalizingly taboo Dr. Disaster. And if you needed further proof that Assassin's Creed Shadows was a dismal failure, look no further than the news that the person who was responsible for it, the creative director of the Assassin's Creed franchise, he just got pushed out of the company.
You're fired! Get out of here! Go!
Make no mistake, the headlines are all making it sound like this dude left voluntarily, and I'm sure that there is some truth to that, but given the timing of everything, Ubisoft and Tencent just formed a new studio that has taken control of Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and Rainbow Six away from Ubisoft, after all, but given the timing of this announcement, I simply don't believe that this guy wasn't pushed out to some degree. The thing is, in corporations like this, they play a lot of politics behind closed doors, and a company like Ubisoft is always going to make sure that when a tenured person like this leaves the company, they're going to make it sound like everything was totally friendly, but behind those closed doors, what they were really saying is,
Get the fuck out of here!
This now former creative director for Assassin's Creed, Mark Alexis Cote, oversaw the complete failure of Assassin's Creed Shadows. The Assassin's Creed franchise finally went to feudal Japan in one of their games, as fans had been clamoring for since the franchise started, and this dude approved the female ninja and the black samurai main characters, along with the female sumo wrestler buddy that you have in the game, the weird LGBT stuff in the story, and the push for Yasuke to be presented as extremely historically significant, which does not appear to be the case. But this caused the sort of controversy which prevents games from selling well and which typically ruins careers. Shadows should have sold at least as well as Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which pushed out 8 million copies in its first month, but Shadows has limped to around half that amount in several months.
Pathetic.
So yeah, on the outside looking in, this guy at Ubisoft quit, supposedly, but let's be real. Shadows was a massive failure, and we are just finding out that they had to cancel that Assassin's Creed game that was going to be set in the American Civil War because the company wanted to avoid even the potential for controversy that was something like Assassin's Creed Shadows. Someone needed punished for this, so this dude got pushed out. I'm sure it wasn't that hard to get the guy to agree to go away though. Ubisoft as a company is still in dire straits. They still come off as the Titanic right after hitting the iceberg, waiting to go under. So at least this guy had an exit strategy of some kind, even if it was forced on him.
Well, I don't know about you, but I am planning to scream and run.
Alright me hearties, make sure that you hit the like button on this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I've had a lot of people tell me that they have recently been unwillingly unsubscribed to the channel, so make sure you check into that, and also, give me a follow over on X, where my handle is Dr. Disaster1, and if you feel like supporting the channel and helping keep the lights on, consider becoming a member for as little as $5 per month. But anyhow, let's look at this news that the Assassin's Creed boss is now gone. One interesting thing to note about the timing of what we are looking at here is the fact that the Assassin's Creed Shadows Claws of Awaji expansion has been out for a month now, and if you look at the data from the game on Steam from the last month, you can see that there was no significant spike in interest for the game at all during that time. It wouldn't surprise me if that expansion was seen as kind of the last Hail Mary pass from the company to see if they could generate some interest in the game and bring in some much needed revenue before they went out and started firing people, but it doesn't seem that the expansion has done much for the game at all. Less than a month after the release of that expansion, and we got the news that Assassin's Creed was being yanked out of Ubisoft's control, and a few weeks after that, here comes the news that the guy who was in charge of the IP's creative direction is gone. The news was reported on in this article here from IGN. It says here, Assassin's Creed franchise boss Mark Alexis Cope has departed Ubisoft after a career spanning more than 20 years, IGN understands. The news comes just 2 weeks after Assassin's Creed, Ubisoft's biggest brand, became operated by Vantage Studios, the separate business entity formed by Ubisoft with a 25% stake from Chinese giant Tencent that will also now oversee all future Far Cry and Rainbow Six games. Ubisoft staff were informed of the news this afternoon via an internal email which discussed the need for Vantage Studios' leadership team to be aligned with its core goals. IGN understands that Cope was offered a role as part of Vantage Studios' leadership but declined, and to be clear, that is corporate speak all the way. You see, the way it works, when a corporation like this wants someone gone, and when there is a major restructuring shakeup like this at a company, they use this restructuring opportunity to offer someone that they want gone a new job, which is way less prestigious than the one they had before, and which pays less. These guys at the top of these companies are entirely too proud to take an offer like that, and everyone knows it. So, an offer like that is really just a tacit way of saying that you've done a shitty job and we want you out of here. But this way, when they do that, everyone gets to save face. The fired employee gets to say that they declined a job offer as if they are pursuing something somewhere else that was more meaningful. This person gets to save face and will move on without saying unkind things about his former employer. And the corporation gets rid of the person that they wanted gone without that person going to war against them. Think of this as a damage reduction technique. But the article says next, in an internal note to Ubisoft staff obtained by IGN, Vantage Studios co-CEO Christophe Durenis said he was disappointed by Coates' decision and that the former leader had his own expectations and priorities related to Vantage Studios' creation and future. Following the organizational restructuring announced in March, Mark Alexis Coates has chosen to pursue a new path elsewhere outside of Ubisoft, a Ubisoft spokesperson told IGN today. While we are saddened to see him go, we're confident that our talented teams will carry forward the strong foundation he helped build. And that right there is just another part of the strategy I was just talking about. In order to ensure that things remain amicable between the former employee and the company, a corporation like Ubisoft will put out a statement talking about how great the employee is, how sad they are to see him go, while internally they are likely looking at the sales numbers for the games that have come out and they're thinking that this guy is an absolute doofus. You've got to think, this guy took over control of Assassin's Creed in early 2022, and at the time, the Assassin's Creed franchise was riding high, coming off of some pretty big wins. Most notably, Valhalla had the biggest launch in the franchise's history just a little over a year prior to this guy's appointment, and now, here we are, and Assassin's Creed is probably at its lowest point despite having just released the Japanese Assassin's Creed game that everyone was looking forward to. They reportedly spent around $250 to $300 million to develop Assassin's Creed Shadows, and they announced that the game would have pretty much the highest marketing spend that the company had ever put into a single game, which would mean at least $100 million. That means that they dropped at a minimum $350 million on this game, and with the average sale price price of the game being $70, when you factor in the 25% cut that the platform takes whenever a unit is sold, whether that be on the PlayStation Store or Steam or Xbox, but when you factor that in, Ubisoft gets to take roughly $52.50 per copy sold. This means that they make a little over $50 million per 1 million copies sold. And with all of that in mind, reports are that after almost 7 months on the market, Assassin's Creed Shadows has sold somewhere around 4 million copies. So they have only brought in about $200 million on a total spend of at least $350 million, and that figure is a best case scenario that is likely pretty damn generous. The game has seen deep discounts already, and the sales still aren't pouring in. When you factor all of that together, you can see why this Mark Alexis Coate fellow is gone, and I'm certain that he is the first of many that will be pushed out of the company over the coming months. You can't screw up this bad and not have consequences. After all, the reason Ubisoft was comfortable spending that much money on this game was because they knew that Shadows should have been a license to print money. It was a surefire hit, and practically the only way to have issues was if they tried to cause problems with fans. Only that would screw it up and cause them to lose money. But of course, that's where we are now. Anyhow, I'm going to leave it there. Drop your mockery of Ubisoft and the Assassin's Creed franchise into the comment section below, and we will talk there. Thanks for watching, me hearties. If you haven't already, your Admiral is inviting you to subscribe to the channel and become a part of the crew. Life as a space pirate may not be glamorous, but there's always plenty of booty.